It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee. Jasmine from the Jasmine brand is here. Mm-hmm. And Omarion is here.
Hey.
He is the gift and he is the curse.
Oh. Well, you know, that is life. That is life. You know, in some people's life, you are the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
here we go.
Already started. No, but so we did watch the whole docuseries.
Okay, word.
Yeah, we watched it on All Black.
We did.
Tight.
By the way.
Tight.
So congratulations on getting that done.
Thank you.
That was really entertaining.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was
Thank
like, right. But I also understood why Raz B might have had some issues.
Okay.
You know, because there were things on there, and look, it feels like you had a lot of patience with him, but sometimes it would wear thin. Mm-hmm. But it feels like he goes through a lot.
He does.
You know, outside of there.
He does, and he has, you know. And, you know, this was just a peek into some of the issues that were going on, you know what I mean, that we were able to capture. But it was so much going on that tour and that experience. And, you know, why it was really important for me to share that is because I've never shared my perspective, you know, or gave my insight to, you know, why things are the way that they have been. So
some people think because you have the Unbothered book, that's the last time I saw you, Unbothered means that you don't address anything, but that's not necessarily true.
No, I think it's important to show up in your journey and stand up for yourself and share your perspective. You know, everyone has their own story, and I think it's important to share your perspective, you know, and show up in the world this way because, you know, you never know who you're going to touch, or you never know, you know, when you share your perspective, if it helps someone else.
When you all were going through the entire documentary and you watched it before you put it out, was there anything that you kind of struggled with showing? That, I mean, obviously you ended up showing it, but was it something that you struggled with actually showing internally?
No. Well, see, the really special thing about this docu is that it wasn't written. It played out itself.
We know that.
It's the truth.
We saw.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what to me is very unique about this perspective, you know, because it doesn't, you know, lean to just, the gift, as so to speak. You know, there was an element of truth, you know, that a lot of people don't like to show in this business.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm happy about that. I'm proud to be able to, you know, give insight and show people my perspective, even if they don't agree with it.
Were there things that you didn't show because you were like, you know what, that's too much, and that might be something that would really make somebody else upset? Because in the process of documenting things, you are showing other people that they might not be at their best, and you know that they might get offended by that.
I think that I definitely had some of those considerations, but because it was not literally written,
right?
You know, it wasn't. You know, I wasn't looking at my footage and saying like, "Oh, we probably shouldn't put that in there."
That.
You know what I mean? Like it was
Because
just.
I would be like, "Oh, maybe I don't know."
Yeah, no, I mean literally from the first episode to the last episode, this story literally wrote itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, you know, no faking in the funk, so to speak. And I think that that's what I love about, you know, storytelling is that it's not perfect, y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It goes up and down just like life is.
I'm like, damn, how they had the cameras rolling when that happened? That was
Well, even like when
Yeah.
with Nipsey's death, we
Yeah.
watched you. I mean, and when Ange and I were watching it, it brought us back to where we were when we found out. We're like, oh my goodness.
Do you
And
remember
it's
when we first heard?
We
right.
were on
'Cause first you
vacation.
heard that he got shot.
just like
Yeah.
them.
and we didn't know.
Yep.
Right.
And we're praying that he's going to survive. Maybe it's not him.
Yep.
You know, I didn't even know you went to school with him.
I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't realize how you all know each other in that way either until I saw the documentary. You and your brother
Yep.
talking about him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, LA is, you know, as far as entertainment goes, it's a real small culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all of the entertainers that come from California, we all go to the popular schools there. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
And yeah, we definitely crossed paths so many times, and you know, yeah. That was really unfortunate, and they caught that. We caught that. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool to be able to share, you know, how prolific his journey was and how it affected all of us. You know, just like culture does.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we get to see you setting boundaries for yourself, too, which is important for people, right? And
is.
even there's one scene with Pleasure P, and he's like trying to come in, and he got really upset.
Yeah.
That you were like, okay, you know, not right now. Like, I'm trying to get ready. I need to have myself set up in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then you guys obviously were cool again after that.
Yeah.
It's like everybody fights and then makes up, and then I feel like that's a guy thing too.
That's almost. I kind of like that about guys.
Because if we fall out with somebody, it's like it's over.
Yeah.
But
Which
I
we
feel
should
like
not be
guys,
like that.
Y'all can fight with each other
Yeah.
and like
Right.
be so mad, and then a month later y'all hanging out again.
Yeah, well, that particular situation was, I was just coming off stage. And usually when I'm coming off stage, there is like a high, that I'm going through. I just performed for an hour, I'm huffing and puffing the whole time, so I need time to just sit with myself and bring myself down. And he has kind of a sort of open door policy, for people that, he just leaves his door open. That's not really my style. You know what I'm saying?
Unless it's Winnie Harlow and her friend.
Yeah, unless it's Winnie or some other pretty women that are actually, I'm just saying, if they see me huffing and puffing, they might hand me a towel. They're not going to be asking me about business or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool that we were able to get past that. You know what I'm saying? Another truth bomb. You know what I mean? That, when you showing up in certain spaces, everybody, might not agree and or respect. And it's really important that you create that, sense of peace for yourself, especially when we're talking about, delivering a performance. You know what I mean? So I thought that was cool, even though, and not just him, it was other stuff that was going on the road that, like, we didn't dive all the way into, but we got past. And that's like, that's a part of this game. You know what I mean? Everything is not going to be in your favor. You're not going to like what everybody has to say. But the point is to keep it pushing.
Did any of your group members have any issues with the documentary?
Hell yeah. I remember
pretty
Raz B
sure.
posted right away. He said he felt it was his trauma that was on there.
Right.
And we got to see it play out, right, with J-Bug, where he had the T-shirt made that said, "I don't feel safe."
Yeah.
And people didn't understand what Raz B was upset at about the time. I did think that was very malicious.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Well, the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes, and it's deeper than even, what is always displayed, you know what I mean? Because it has to do with people's psychology and how they see things, you know what I mean? It's never been my position to, exploit people's pain. I'm not certain networks out here. It's never really been my position. But to tell the truth, sometimes, pisses people off. The truth cuts both ways in that aspect. So.
Are there things that you wish would have been captured that you didn't get, that you're like, man, I wish we had a cameras rolling when this happened. This would have been...
Nah.
Like, y'all got enough.
Nah. Yeah. Everything on this documentary is yeah. It's in the vein of the truth.
So you went into this knowing you were going to do a documentary, like, we're going to film this, because no one else did that.
Yeah, well, everyone else had the opportunity to have their own cameraman. Certain people had their own cameraman, and that's really where everybody got the approval. When we're backstage, there's certain areas is media areas. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that people, were thinking the way that I was thinking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure people kicked themselves after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
wish
wasn't.
I did my own.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on making a docu. You know what I mean? After I looked at the footage, I just saw, the real storyline of, the start to finish, and
Right.
it was like, oh, this is a truth bomb. This is a story that I literally lived through, and watching it is not always an easy thing too. You know what I'm saying? Because I sat there with the edits and, needed to make sure that there were certain aspects of the truth that was told. And yeah, it's the truth.
Would you like to do another one? Like, to document another part of your life or another part of your career?
I love sharing aspects of, the things that I go through. I think it is, the true script of an entertainer, you know what I mean, and person, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all go through things,
Yeah.
and how we come out of situations, it really speaks to who we are.
And you're definitely the multi-hyphenate now, because you have a book, so you're an author.
Yes.
And I saw you were doing, when you did your book tour, sound bathing.
Yes.
All right, and I tried that actually one time.
How'd you like it?
I fell asleep.
Well,
but that's kind of what you're supposed to do, right?
Well,
Relax, right?
That's an aspect of it, you know what I mean? But it does put you in a position to heal yourself. And a lot of the times, I'm pretty sure, like you, Angela, like you don't sleep much,
No,
do
I
you?
don't.
Yeah,
We had
so
a long night yesterday.
yeah. So it's like, you know, you get into a sound bath and you're able to relax yourself. You're able to rest. You know what I mean? I did a HBCU tour last year, and that was a part of, you know, me showing people that's in my book also how I've been able to maintain my own personal peace. And that is, you know, with meditative tools like, you know, the sound bath and meditating and other yogic systems.
I feel like meditating has become a lot more popular now, too. But
For sure.
you've been doing this for how long?
For a minute now, you know, the thing about meditating is you have to do it long enough to see, you know, that it can work for you. And, you know, being an entertainer in this space, it's like, you know, you definitely got to woo-saw. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like, hold
10,
up.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Okay, yeah.
How long
know,
do you meditate a day?
It depends. It depends.
How long did you meditate today?
I didn't get a chance to meditate today, but
Time
I
to
do.
go.
But I do have a short, like, I want to say like 5-minute meditation that I created for myself.
Okay.
And that's some breath work as well. But usually, there's been times where I've gone like 40 days straight meditating. You know what I mean? So
And do you feel you can tell the difference?
of course, I'm unbothered.
What is your definition of unbothered? Because I mean, obviously you have a book, and everyone, you know, like everyone calls you unbothered.
Yeah.
And it's
so-
not that you don't address things, because you
Right.
have to make that clear. Because
Yep.
people were like, he's unbothered. Why would he do this then?
Yeah.
But that's not the definition.
So what is your
Yeah.
definition of unbothered?
Yeah, so being unbothered is taking the stance to maintain your own personal power. You know, the outside world a lot of the time, you know, can pull you out of that. You know what I mean? And you know, a lot of people react to life, but being unbothered is about being thoughtful and responding
Okay.
instead of reacting. So being unbothered is just about maintaining your own personal power. Period.
So when you see something wild or something you want to address that's crazy about yourself, or a room or something, like in terms of, so you just what, stop and pause first?
Yeah,
or?
take a pause, really think about, you know, how it serves me, if it makes any sense for me to speak up, you know, because again, you know, speaking up for yourself looks different for everyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you definitely need to speak up for yourself.
Okay.
But at that moment when you're feeling those things, it might not be the best time. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
That's why I don't like to argue while I'm mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm really mad, I'm like, I just need a moment.
Exactly.
And then we'll talk about it when I calm down, because I never want to say something that I can't take back.
Yeah. 'Cause
Exactly.
once you say it, it's done.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't talk crazy. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to curse somebody out. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say anything that I'm like, damn, why did I say that? Because once you say something to somebody, they feel like that's
Yeah.
it, you meant it, especially in the heat of an argument.
And even if you don't mean it, the
Yeah.
other person feels like you do.
Yeah, so being unbothered is about being thoughtful and being like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to allow this situation at this particular time because I'm pissed off or I feel some type of way to dictate my movement. You know, that's what being unbothered is about, just maintaining your own personal power.
And I feel like you were very calculating as far as knowing that you were going to have this documentary, because this tour was years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And so knowing all this time that you have this footage, and people might be saying things, but you're like, they're about to see,
Yeah.
you know, what the truth is.
Yeah, because the best way is to show people, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I could have, you know, done a gazillion interviews,
Right.
but I've done that before, and it's always been picking apart, or why are
yes,
you
I
doing
know.
this, or why are you doing that? But when you see the footage, ain't no lying about that.
Yeah.
Ain't no lying about the footy.
I also feel like
We
you,
got the footy.
I also feel
Let
like
me show you.
know how to get your ex-bandmates mad too. Like,
No,
you know.
No, I've
certain-
never intentionally, you know, gone after them, you know, in any way. You know, I personally feel like the reason why it was important for me to have this documentary is because it's just piled up all over time. I remember when B2K first broke up, you know, I received more of the backlash than anyone, you know, because
did.
I proceeded to move forward.
Right.
And that looked like I was leaving them behind.
and having hit after hit after
Yeah.
hit.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
didn't help.
So that looked like, oh, Omarion don't really care, when that was not the case.
They kicked you out the group.
I mean, essentially, yeah.
Right. So, because in the paperwork, I know they said that you're not in B2K and you can't use it.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it was
How could that even
Yeah, how
happen?
how do you get kicked out the?
well,
How does the lead singer get kicked out the group?
well, I mean, because the business was so convoluted, you know what I mean, and it was really being managed, you know, by, just not being managed properly, and us being kids, it was just a lot of confusion. You know what I'm saying? So it was like really more than anything, we were being separated. It was like, oh, okay, nah, y'all go over there since y'all want to do your own business, which really in hindsight, it was nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's not how they made us feel. They essentially kind of pit us against each other. You know what I mean? And I remember, I talk about this in the docu too. I remember hearing on the radio, Power, the station in LA, and them like, talking about well, we're looking for a new lead singer. And I was just offended. I was completely offended.
Sheesh.
Like, for real? Like, y'all really don't have no respect for me. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to keep it pushing. So just that energy alone, and not being able to be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, y'all doing your thing. Like, oh, if you decided you want to stay over there, it's all good, man. Do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was not that. It was very tumultuous. You know what I'm saying?
Getting kicked out was a gift and a curse.
It was. But this whole life can be looked at as that way. You know what I mean? Because we go through certain things in life that, needs to show us things about who we are and how we set boundaries for ourselves. And see, growing up in front of the public eye, people will never truly, understand unless they're in that position how that feels all of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like the weight of the world, you know what I mean? So for me to be able to speak my piece through this documentary, has really, freed up a lot of, my experience that I felt was adverse. Going back down 15 years later, performing with people, not being around people, and seeing like, oh, a lot of these issues really don't even come from us.
Right.
Yeah.
They come from outside people, and just realizing that is like, oh, that's deep. That's deep. Because
and seeing how you affect the fans, like when you see those women going crazy, crying.
Yeah. and the fans feeling like, oh, Omarion is holding that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that didn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really always feel like I was able to, expand the way that I wanted to expand as, some other artists that were in groups
Did you feel like you had to dim your light?
I don't feel like I had to dim my light, but I felt like my process was very different from, a lot of other artists out there that maybe I'm compared to. You know what I'm saying?
A good thing is you have a real brother in real life.
Facts.
Yeah.
I think that's a positive thing, that you always at least had him there.
Yeah, I had a extremely, just amazing foundation. And I think that, when you have that, you're able to continue to flourish in this game and not feel so like the world is against you. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely had people on my side that watched the story, and that was there because Orion was there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Orion was there.
I like seeing him on the documentary because we get some insight from him, and we don't really see him as fans. We don't get to see him a lot. So I like seeing him in the documentary.
Shout out to the bro. Y'all remember that scene? He said, bro, which way you want to go? How you want to do this? You know what I mean?
I mean, that's a brother.
I'm with
That's what
whichever way.
Yeah, everybody had that because some people are only children.
Yep.
Right.
So they don't know what that's like. And one thing that you said that was interesting is that we are not all brothers. Like, it's like a basketball team, you said, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so, the sad thing about, building a bond as kids and, realizing that everybody comes from different backgrounds and their ideas of what brotherhood is different, that's what I was really speaking about, in reference to being on a team. It's like when you're on a team, it's like unless you all are really, have a communicative relationship and you all really there for each other, then it's like, okay, that's your brother, you know what I mean? But when there are certain boundaries and certain things that you cross, you really start looking at people differently, and you really start looking at what they think brotherhood is. And I'm sorry, brotherhood is not betrayal. Brotherhood is not this Cain and Abel, that's not a brother. You know what I'm saying? Even if you bud, you know what I'm saying? Like, real brotherhood is about support and respect. And, that was tough for us to build because, again, it was kind of made that way. You know what I mean? We were made to, bond on a certain level, and then we were stripped of that. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly, wish the guys well, because I understand that I'm matured enough, to realize that a lot of the way that we feel about each other is not even from our own teachings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It comes from, outside influences. So
It is what it is, but do you feel ever sometimes the need to want to fix it? Or are you like, I just let it be?
yeah, at this point, we're all grown. You know what I mean? We all have, kids and things like this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a heavy thing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's any of our responsibility to men's. You know what I mean? If things did change, I wouldn't be opposed to that. You know what I'm saying? If things did, progress.
Do any of them have your number now?
I'm not sure.
Looking, that's so funny.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do they have my number? Looking back, are there any mistakes that you feel like you made? Is there any, in terms of the brotherhood or the relationship? Is there any mistakes like you feel like you made?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't speak up for myself enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when things were, going a certain way. You know what I mean? Like I just kind of, and I'm a person like that. I'm an observer, so I like to see what people do. You know what I mean? And then I move, accordingly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there was times when I needed to speak up.
Do you think you're non-confrontational?
In certain elements, I feel like, as a man, you do have to, deal with certain things head on. Mm-hmm. But I'm analytical, so I'm an observer, and I realize how quickly things can get to a certain point. So I always make the best move based off of that. You know what I mean? Because, man, we're physical too. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of the times when we feel, certain ways, we want to get physical. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say I'm just, I'm smart and calculated. You know what I mean?
And you're happier. I saw you charging that girl to meet you.
Which one?
Which one? How many times have you done this?
The nerve of you.
Oh my goodness.
That was wild.
That was on Dr. Phil. This woman was Catfish. She thought she was talking to you.
Did you think they were engaged? Did she think they were
sending money?
Yeah,
and
we
everything.
were in a relationship.
You were in a relationship. Okay.
Yes.
Where were you when you found this out? Like, what? Who sent this to you? How did you even know what was going on?
Yeah. So shout out to the originals, my fans. You know what I mean? They pinged us and let us know that this young lady was going on Dr. Phil, and her family was talking to her, and they asked me if I wanted to send a message, and I was like, yeah, let her know that whoever she's speaking to, because every now and then I'll like check out my DMs, and a lot of people are like, yo, is this you? And I'm just like, yo, no, I'm not. I'm not a ghost online. If you're talking to me, you're talking to a blue check, okay?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now people got to pay for those blue checks.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
On Twitter though, not on Instagram.
I think they're doing that there too.
On IG.
From my understanding.
I just know about Twitter right now.
But go ahead. So you're not a ghost.
Yeah, and I think that people needed to be aware that, like, yo, if you online, like, don't be gullible. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody's calling you, because she said that the fake Omarion was actually calling her, but not showing myself on the video. I'm like, come on, yeah.
Okay.
So it was like, she would FaceTime, and then we'd be like, oh, I'm busy. I'm gonna hit you right back, and I'm like, yo. So it was really unfortunate, and honestly, my fans are like the best. You know what I mean? So I don't never want them to be getting manipulated. On some fake Omarion vibes. Like, nah, we don't do that.
Have you ever been catfished?
Back way back in the day when this was like early Instagram. Yeah, I got in Catfish. Thought it was a cutie.
And you met up?
But it wasn't.
Did you meet up back
No,
then?
I didn't meet up. One of my homies did do that, and it was not the girl.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa, my friend.
Be more careful.
Got to be more careful. Yeah, the internet's a crazy place. It's a wild place.
And you have a new project dropping May 5th. Is that still the date?
Yes, that's the date. Full circle. Big Vibes. I would love if you could play Big Vibes. We just dropped the first installment to the album, Full Circle. It's called Big Vibes. So new music coming. We got a lot of good things.
And we
coming
always
up.
love an Omarion challenge.
Yeah. We're gonna have a challenge with this with Big Vibes.
Come on, yeah. It's a big vibe. All you got to do is show what's a big vibe to you. Working is a big vibe because at the end of the day, you get a check. You know what I'm saying?
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Smiling is a big vibe because you might get a smile back. Life is a big vibe. You know what I mean? But it's all about your perspective. You know what I mean?
Is this album done? Is
Yeah.
it finished?
Album is done in the can, and this is Sonic Book 1, and then I'll release a Sonic Book 2 this year as well. So y'all gonna be getting a lot of, slaps from Omarion.
Now, why Full Circle?
Because it's an O. My whole experience, it's a full circle moment. The documentary is a full circle moment for me. All of the people that I've worked with, that are coming back into my space. Life is funny like that. You know what I mean? I did not want to do, the Millennium tour. But it was one of the best things that I've ever could have done,
Nice.
because I was able to go back to, young Omarion.
Right.
I was able to go back to see like, oh, this was that feeling, and a lot of artists don't get that opportunity.
And it ended up being the Omarion tour, really.
Yo,
Kinda.
and you know what? That was such a blessing. That was such a blessing because, like, for real, my team had to like really sit me down and be like, yo, you singing all these songs, these records is yours because of my experience with B2K. I didn't want to deal with that, you know what I mean? And I needed to be reminded of all the hard work that I did, everything, that I put in, because a lot of people don't understand this about artists, but, all of our experience is not great, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So what you share with this particular album or this particular song, might have been pain for us and a way to release, our creativity to get ourselves on a new level, you know what I mean? But even with all of the adverse experiences, it was a major lesson, and it was a lot of information that I needed to receive and pat myself on the back for all my hard work with going on that tour. And I'm so glad that I did it.
Break it down for me. How did that happen, though? Because we saw in the documentary it was B2K, and then Razby ended up getting kicked off the tour, and we saw that happen. But then how did it end up just being you?
Well, we kept the Millennium Tour brand very much so like the Scream Tour brand alive. After we transitioned from the first Millennium Tour that was with the group, and obviously we weren't moving on, together as a group, it became me and friends.
Right.
So we kept that business going. After the last Millennium Tour, though, I wasn't on the last Millennium Tour. So, yeah, we transitioned into another tour series. But, yeah, we kept it going because, history has shown us, has shown me and those fans of all those 2000, classics that there's an actual market for it.
Clearly.
So,
Very
so,
clearly.
Yeah, so we had to keep that going. We had to keep that business
And
going.
are you and Bow Wow still tight? I remember when y'all was best friends. I was telling Jasmine one day I was, where was I? I was staying at a hotel. I think I was with Melissa Ford. We were going somewhere to do a booking, and you guys were in the same hotel, like on a different floor, running around. Y'all were so young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just remember both of you running around the hotel, like all crazy in the hallways. And then we saw him on the documentary too. And I was like, that's right. That's what sparked it for me. I was like, that's right. They did used to be like best friends. What's
Yeah.
your relationship now?
Oh, we good. We good. Yeah, everybody, that was a part of this journey, I'm good with. I have no problems with. I would never, spend my energy on feeling any type of way about anybody because that's not how I, move my energy. I don't hold no ill will towards anyone. So, it's all good.
You never
It's
had
all
no
good.
problems though, right? You didn't have any.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It just sparked it for me. I was like, I remember they was like
Like
this.
BFFs. Would you ever be open to? Obviously, they don't. Your members don't. Group members don't have your number anymore. But would you ever? Would you ever be open to, doing a project or revisiting? I know you get asked that all the time.
Yeah.
But this is a question for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything is possible. I'm obviously focusing on myself right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I would say anything is possible. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
And then this is off topic, but on topic. In terms of R&B male singers, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore? And you can't include yourself.
Okay. Well, a lot of my Mount Rushmore is from the past.
Okay,
you know
that's
what I'm
fine.
saying? Donny Hathaway.
Okay.
And we talking vocals, right?
Whatever we talk whatever
Okay,
you
all
want
right,
it to be.
all right. Stevie Wonder, Michael
Yes.
Jackson, Marvin Gaye, and who would be number 5?
I thought there's only 4.
How many
Is
is
it
it?
That was
5?
4. I'm gonna give you one more.
Okay, he's gonna give us
and
an extra person.
Yep, and 5 is gonna be Frankie Beverly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So all real soul singers
Yeah.
that sing from the gut, you know, yeah.
Okay.
I think about Frankie Beverly and Maze and how they go on tour. Like, now, could you see yourself doing that? Like, when you
Yes.
get older, just always on the
Yes.
road?
Yes, I mean, you know, it is one of my intentions to be able to express joy and perform for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely am not going to, you know, mark my words. You're not going to see me in 20 years and I could barely walk. That ain't going to
You
happen.
still gonna be doing the splits?
Oh,
and the
well, I might not be
flips and the-
doing the split.
He's like, well, wait a
I
minute.
might
now.
not, I might not be doing a split, but you know, I'm definitely gonna be, you know, keep my mobility and you know, that's one thing that I love about being a musician is it's like it's really like there is no bar. Like you could continue to grow. You know, there's so many different aspects of in entertainment. You know, especially that I do. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep growing.
I know
I'ma keep
TikTok has
going.
to be really big for you too.
I haven't went like super ham on TikTok, but yeah, you know, TikTok is a big dance community. So yeah,
Exactly.
we gonna start going ham on TikTok real soon. Yeah.
Well, Omarion, thank you so much for coming
Yes.
through on Way Up with Angela Yee. You know, I always have you check in from time to
For
time on
sure.
all my different platforms.
Yes.
You know, this one was different than the last one you were on.
Yeah, we was talking freaky on your other platform.
Lip service, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, make sure you guys watch. We really thoroughly enjoyed the docuseries.
Thank you.
You know, so Omega, The Gift and the Curse. And then, of course,
Yes.
you know, Unbothered is out. And
Yep.
the new project is coming out full circle May 5th.
Yes.
And right now, Big Vibes.
Big vibes.
Way
you.
Up with Angela Yee. Thank you, Omarion.
Yeah.